Hey guys, it's time for a book review. Yes, I still do those. The particular book I picked today is a popular book, I'd have to say, since it's slowly becoming a series. It's going to be a series of 3 soon. Right now it's only known as Book 1, Fallen, and Book 2, Torment. There's another one I think called Sacrifice, or some kind of benign, meaningful title that's going to be coming up next. But I'm going to be talking about the first book, Fallen. And before I get into it, since angels is such a big thing now, I would like to give you guys a little bit of a theological lesson on fallen angels from my Catholic school background. This is what I have been told. So, long ago there was an angel, the most sublime angel of his kind, so much so that he was sometimes called Morning Star. Despite his standing, he was still, of course, considered inferior to the one that created him, God. This angel decided that it was better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, and managed to turn some of his fellow angels against the very being they owned their existence to. And with this group of angels, he waged war against heaven. And while he lost and was banished and became the first of the fallen angels, this angel, this Morning Star, became the ruler of his own domain and became a creature feared almost as much as God. Lucifer Morning Star was the first and the greatest of the fallen angels. And this book, Fallen, is all about fallen angels. And knowing that these fallen angels, from a Catholic perspective and Christian perspective, which is what the angels in these books are based on. You know, some of them I would like to say are doing something different with angels, but they're not. They're going from a very dogmatic, Catholic dogmatic view of it. So I'm going to compare them to what they're supposed to be writing for. So, how do these fallen angels compare from Fallen to what I've read about in Catholic school? Well, it seems like these fallen angel crap is going to replace the young adult vampires as the it creatures. You know, we had vampires, fairies briefly came up in there, a little bit of werewolf, but right now we're doing this whole angel thing, and dragons are probably going to follow since Firelight is somewhat, successful now. But much like the vampire, people don't seem to understand what exactly a fallen angel is or what it means to be a fallen angel. Don't even get me started with the whole concept of the Nephilim, because people just don't even know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to Nephilim. So I'm not even going to talk into that anymore, because I've mentioned it before with my review of Personal Demons, and I touched on one good book, Angel Fire, which actually talked about it in a positive way, but again, here we are. And I have stated multiple times that I have no problem with writers taking things and making it fit for a young adult audience. However, why does everything have to be destroyed? Why does it have to turn from something meaningful and dark into something just kind of pathetic, A fallen angel, from the perspective of what they're writing for, is a creature who was exiled from paradise for doing something extremely fucked up. I mean, the original gangster of fallen angels is Satan. And if you're talking about these fallen angels had to be something as bad as Satan or have followed his rule to get where they're going right now, that's the expectation you're setting up for me. So, about this book, Fallen, okay. This book is so bad that the cover facepalms itself. I'm serious, it literally does.
Get sleazy,
I really didn't like this book. In another book, which is Shiver, which I'll talk about in the next video review, I at least had someone to root for in that book. I had a little bit of someone I could at least, say, alright, I like this character. In here, I was struggling to even make it through the book. First, I listened to it, but then it was so dry and boring that I actually had to resort to reading it. Basically, it's about a 17-year-old idiot named Luce who can see shadows that no one else can see, right? And one night, the shadows attack her when she's kissing this boy named Trevor, and he's burned alive. And it's not as cool as it sounds. I promise you, it really is not. And as a result of this whole thing, she gets sent to this kind of like Nazi camp under the guise of a reform school called Sword and Cross. And I hope you felt the symbolism rape with Sword and Cross already. And if you haven't felt the symbolism rape, trust me, you will. because it's there that she meets her reincarnated love interest named Daniel Grigori. Have you felt the symbolism rape yet? You did. It's okay. You'll be okay. The most important thing to remember is that it's not your fault. However, before Daniel and Luce can even speak, she's attracted to him. Of course she is. And he proceeds to treat her like a cow pie. He flips her off the first time they meet, make eye contact, she flips him off. Yet she continues to stalk him, obsess over him, and put herself into trouble for him. Remember, she just saw a boy being burned alive, and that's why she's in this place. And she has suddenly decided to be a stalker of this boy who flipped her off. You know, she's been stalked by shadows all her life, and this hottie comes along, and all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, oh, I totally forgot about the shadows and the burning alive. That's irrelevant now. Yay, idiot. Right. It really just irritated me so deeply how Luce allows Daniel to mistreat her throughout the course of this book. You know, Lauren Kate tries to pull a Roman holiday analogy to explain this obsession, but it fails because Lauren Kate does not understand the whole point of why the character of Anne was attracted to Joe in the movie Roman Holiday. If you haven't seen Roman Holiday, starring, you know, one of my goddesses, Audrey Hepburn, basically it's about this princess who meets this guy and he takes her out and everything. It's a really good movie. It's really amazing because it's Audrey Hepburn. She's flawless to me. This is the roles that she won her Oscar for. But the whole point of it, as a member of royalty, Anne has never had anyone be honest to her and treat her like a person, not a toilet, okay? She's attracted to Joe because, you know, she uses the line in the story that how Anne says that how he was mean to her and that's why she kind of liked him. She says in kind of this dreamy voice, but that's not the point. He was the only person to treat her like an actual human being, a person. He didn't treat her like a toilet, which is how Daniel treats Luce, and it's not the same thing. And I don't like that analogy being used because it totally rips the meaning of the original material that she's supposed to be like inspired by. Roman Holiday is not a fucking movie about an abusive, rude man and a obnoxious, low self-esteem little idiot who can't do anything. That's not what the point of that whole story is. That's not the point of the whole attraction. The attraction is the fact that she's feeling like a human being, an actual person. I don't understand why she'd be attracted to Daniel in this book because he's an idiot. This story is just a long, boring rant of her meaningless troubles that perks up at points. Like, there are little points that, like, it perks up, but it wasn't enough to save the book. It really wasn't. The angel part doesn't even appear until the end, and it's never mentioned what terrible things these people did to get kicked out of heaven. And to be clear, I am pretty sure that the only reason they're getting kicked out of heaven, from what I can tell from this one book, was that they got kicked out of heaven because he wanted to date her in his past lives. And if that's why they got kicked out of heaven, I can honestly say I don't care. And that's not really badass. And I just want to make something clear. A good fallen angel is an oxymoron. A fallen angel, for simplicity's sake, is like 2 steps away from being a demon. So, if you don't understand that, please do. Thank you. Avoid this book. It is not worth the money. It's not worth the trouble. If you want to read it, get it from the library. At least House of Night is lulzy and hilarious. In a bad way, but hilarious. This book doesn't have that. It has no humor. Nothing that at least make you just be like, oh my god. The character is just a blank slate of nothingness. And the entire relationship is worthless. It's worthless. And to explain to you my frustration with this book, I want to read this thing that actually happened from this book. This is an actual line from the character Luce. Alright. I'll just do this for when it's in quotation marks, because I like doing this. I don't get it, she asked. I don't get it. Let me tell you something about what I get. You think you're so smart? I spent 3 years on a full academic scholarship at the best college prep school in the country. And when they kicked me out, I had to petition to keep them from wiping out my 4.0 transcript. Daniel moved away, but Luce pursued him, taking a step forward taking a step forward for every wide-eyed step he took back, probably freaking him out, but so what? He'd been asking for it every time he condescended to her. I know Latin and French, and in middle school I won the science fair 3 years in a row. She had backed him up against the railing of the boardwalk and was trying to restrain herself from poking him in the chest with her finger. She wasn't finished. I also do the Sunday crossword puzzle, and sometimes I get it. I also do the Sunday crossword puzzle, sometimes in under an hour. I have an unerring good sense of direction, though not always when it comes to guys. She swallowed and took a moment to catch her breath. And someday I'm going to be a psychiatrist who actually listens to her patients and helps people, okay? So don't keep talking to me like I'm stupid, and don't tell me I don't understand something because I can't decode your erratic, flaky, hot 1 minute, cold the next. Frankly, she looked up at him, letting out her breath. Really hurtful behavior. She brushed a tear away, angry with herself for getting so worked up. Shut up, Daniel said. But he said it softly and so tenderly that Luce surprised both of them by obeying. Yeah. You're smart, yet you allow a man to walk all over you, treat you like shit for days, actually weeks, and then fall at his feet when he says go. After ranting and raving about how smart you are, how smart were you in practice? Nowhere, because for all that supposed knowledge, you have no common sense. I'm sorry, but we're not in kindergarten anymore where the whole if a boy likes you, he pulls your ponytail thing works. He treated you like crap, so you know what you're supposed to do? Not moon over him, not, try to fix him or anything like that, or even be attracted to him in like 5 seconds. You're supposed to flip him off and keep on walking. And if he starts crying about that he did it because he secretly liked you, then tell him to come back when he's mastered communication and aiming into the toilet bowl. It's so frustrating. At least, I know I have weird taste in some relationships where I like the whole kind of like aspect of, one character liking another one, but kind of like the whole little redeem bully mentality. That at least works to me when the character that's being bullied is not in love with the character for being bullied. Because that's just sick and wrong, and I don't like that aspect of it. And I know people think that I do because of Karofsky and that. No, I don't think it's cute for someone who is being treated like shit to love the person that treats them like shit. I think that if someone treats you like shit and they don't do anything to redeem themselves and you still want to date with them, that's retarded. I'm sorry to use that word because I know there's contrast between, but I think it's really ridiculous. And what message are they sending to young girls to tell them, yeah, totally date the guy who treats you like crap, because that's okay. It's not okay. It's stupid and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Whoa, Black Betty, bam, lamb, whoa, Black